What's going on, everybody? So the Critics' Choice are announcing nominations very soon, so I'm going to be reacting to those. I'm very excited to see what they do since this is the first real major awards nominations of the season, so it's going to be interesting. I'm really hoping for some Train Dreams love. I really need that to get into picture and actor and some other categories. And it's going to be interesting to see what they do. Are they going to nominate both blockbuster sequels? Are they going to give Begonia some help? Because I really think that probably needs to show up here in picture and actor, but I'm not predicting in either category, so it's going to be interesting with that. Will they do Jay Kelly? Because that doesn't really seem like a critics pick, but Netflix is campaigning it, so they're probably going to do it just to predict the Oscars. As far as the international films go, I think Sentimental Value is going to get into Best Picture. You just kind of have to. You got 4 actors right there. You gotta nominate. The other internationals, though, like No Other Choice and It Was Just an Accident, I don't think are going to get into Best Picture here, but I hope they can at least show up in something major like Screenplay. So let's get right into these nominations. All right, starting from the bottom, we got Best Sound, got F1, Frankenstein, One Battle After Another, Sinners, Sarat, wow, and Warfare. Sarat and Warfare getting in. I thought it would probably just be Warfare if one of them could squeeze in, and even then I didn't predict that. So that's really interesting that both Sarat and Warfare got in here. What did they get in over? No Avatar, okay, so the write-ins probably caused an issue with that. Or Wicked. No Wicked is really interesting. Is that film, does that have a chance at missing Best Picture? Best Score, we have F1. They did the Hans Zimmer name check. Frankenstein, Hamnet, Marty Supreme, One Battle After Another, and Sinners. Okay, so not a good start for Begonia here. I kind of thought that was going to have to get into score here with the limited amount of films shortlisted for this category, but they went with the Hans Zimmer name check. Best song, they did Drive from F1, are you kidding me? Golden, I Lied to You, Clothed by the Sun from Testament of Ann Lee, that's awesome. I didn't think they would do that. Train Dreams, and Girl in the Bubble. Okay, so they did not double dip with either Wicked or Sinners, it looks like. But Clothed by the Sun is awesome. I'm glad to see that get in. Is there a chance Amanda Seyfried could get in? I still don't think so. I still think like Arrivo and Infinity are in over her, but who knows, maybe. Best Foreign Language Film, you have It Was Just an Accident, Left-Handed Girl, No Other Choice, The Secret Agent, Sarat, and Belen. Okay, that's weird. Both Belen and Left-Handed Girl. I thought it was between one of those for the last spot. I picked Left-Handed Girl in my predictions. Oh, wow, no Sentimental Value. What happened there? I wonder if people just like thought it was a given, so they voted for other things and it missed because of that. That's really weird. Best Comedy, Ballad of Wallace Island, Eternity, Friendship, Naked Gun, Phoenician Scheme, Splitsville. That's fun. I like that they do different things instead of just the big Best Picture films in the Best Comedy section. Animated got Arco, Elio, they go with the mid-Pixar, In Your Dreams, K-Pop Demon Hunters, Little Amelie, and Zootopia. Okay. So they just went with 6 instead of the normal 5 this year in this category. That's interesting. Best Stunt Design, we have Ballerina, F1, Mission Impossible, One Battle, Sinners, and Warfare. Okay, Warfare gets into another category. That's really awesome. Warfare was a good movie. I'm really happy it got into sound because that's still my favorite sound design of the year, but it getting into stunt design is also really interesting. What did that get in over? No Wicked again. That is crazy. They are snubbing that in a few of these below the line categories so far. Visual effects, we have Avatar. Okay, I wonder if that's going to be its only nomination since it missed sound. We have F1, Frankenstein, Mission Impossible, Sinners, and Superman. Wow, okay, so no Wicked again. They really are snubbing this in tech categories. It is underperforming that first film pretty heavily to start. Makeup and hair, we have 28 Years Later, Frankenstein, Sinners, Smashing Machine, Weapons, and Wicked. Okay, so that's just the easy top 6. Costumes, we have Frankenstein, Hamnet, Hedda is a great nomination. I would definitely put that in my top 5. Got Kiss of the Spider-Woman as well, which is really cool. Sinners and Wicked for Good. Okay, so what's missing here? Because both Hedda and Spider-Woman getting in is interesting. No Marty Supreme is probably the biggest thing. Oh, and then no One Battle overperformance with the nomination here. I thought they might do that just to be a little silly with like Bob's robe and stuff, but they didn't. They just went with two actually costume oriented films, which I like. Editing, we have House of Dynamite. I was not expecting that, but that's a really good poll. F1, Marty Supreme, One Battle, The Perfect Neighbor. What? A documentary in editing. And then Sinners. Wow. Perfect Neighbor getting it. I was already surprised with House of Dynamite, but nominating a documentary in Best Editing is crazy. That is a really inspired pick. That is awesome. No Hamnet is probably the biggest thing. No Frankenstein either. Production design, we got Fantastic Four, Frankenstein, Hamnet, Marty, Sinners, and Wicked. Okay, so Fantastic Four just got in over Avatar, so it is looking like if Avatar can't get that Best Picture nomination, its only nomination might be visual effects. Cinematography, F1, again, wow, that's showing up everywhere below the line. Frankenstein, Hamnet, One Battle After Another, Sinners, and Train Dreams. Yes, you love to see the Train Dreams passion shine through here. I'm really glad to see that. What did F1 get in over? No Marty Supreme. Okay, so that missed this and costumes, I think, below the line. I wonder if it'll miss anything above the line. Probably not, but that is interesting that it missed here to F1. Casting and ensemble, we have Hamnet. Okay, good. Jay Kelly, Marty Supreme, One Battle, Sinners, and Wicked. That's just the top 6. There was really nothing else available that could have gotten in over those. Adapted screenplay, we have One Battle, Train Dreams, No Other Choice, Thank You, Can That Get Into Picture, Frankenstein, Begonia, and Hamnet. That's the 6 I predicted. No Wake Up Dead Man, even though that they put Glass Onion in picture last time. So Wake Up Dead Man just doesn't have that same passion. People are feeling a little bit of that Knives Out fatigue, I think. But really cool that both Train Dreams and No Other Choice are here. I really wanted to see that, so it's awesome. Original, we have Jay Kelly, Marty Supreme, Sinners, Weapons, Sorry Baby, nice, and Sentimental Value. No, It Was Just an Accident is terrible. That is awful. Not for its awards chances. It'll be perfectly fine. It's still a lock for Best Picture. And honestly, I do think that It Was Just an Accident still might end up winning original at the Oscars because Anatomy of a Fall did not get nominated in screenplay here, and it obviously went on to win the Oscar in that category. So we'll have to see with It Was Just an Accident's trajectory after this in the screenplay category, but I'm just really happy they did do Sorry Baby, though I would have liked to see It Was Just an Accident in over, honestly, every other one of these. Best Director, we have PTA, Ryan Coogler, Guillermo del Toro, Josh Safdie, Joachim Trier, thank you, and Chloe Zhao. Trier getting in here, that was the one I was the shakiest on with Sentimental Value above the line, so I'm glad to see him here, and it's, you know, interesting that he's in director and screenplay, but not international. Young actor, actress, you got Everett Blunt from The Plague, Miles Caton from Sinners, Carrie Christopher, Weapons, Shannon Mahina Gorman, Rental Family, that's a good nomination. Jacoby Jupe for Hamnet, and Nina Yi for Left-Handed Girl, that's cool to see as well. Jacoby Jupe should win that category. He was incredible in Hamnet. On to the acting categories, we have Supporting Actress, Elle Fanning, Sentimental Value, Ariana Grande, Inga Ibsdottir Lilius, thank you, both Sentimental Value ladies in here. Amy Madigan, Wunmi Masaku, wow, and Teyana Taylor for One Battle After Another. So Masaku just got in over who? Gwyneth Paltrow and Odessa Zion. No Marty Supreme ladies in Supporting Actress. It's really cool that Wunmi Masaku got in here. I wonder if she can get a little bit of steam and get a nomination. I think probably not. I'm still, leaning towards the Marty Supreme ladies at the Oscars, but that is one way or another a cool nomination. Love to see her show up at least somewhere. Supporting actor, we have Benicio del Toro, Jacob Elordi, Paul Mescal, Sean Penn, Sandler, Skarsgård. Okay. Easy top 6. That's going to be the top 6 the entire awards season. No one else is going to be touching those guys. So it's going to be interesting to see who ends up getting left out. Best Actress, we have Jessie Buckley, Rose Byrne, love to see her in here. Chase Infinity, yeah, that makes sense. They were always going to nominate One Battle everywhere they could. Renata Reinsva, Amanda Seyfried for The Testament of Anne Lee. Wow, I was not expecting that. I was not expecting Critics' Choice to be able to give this an above the line nomination. That is really freaking cool. And Emma Stone for Begonia. So no Cynthia Erivo for Wicked. Wow, she is not getting an Oscar nomination. And honestly, with how that film's performed, I still think it's getting in picture here at Critics' Choice, but probably not at the Oscar. I mean, even with this group who loved the first one more than anything, not giving it a lead actress nomination with 6 slots and instead choosing Seyfried in a far more divisive and polarizing and underseen film, that's really interesting. Best Actor, we have Timothée Chalamet, Leonardo DiCaprio, Joel Edgerton. Yes, you love to see it. Ethan Hawke for Blue Moon as well. Wow. Michael B. Jordan, and Wagner Moura. Wagner Moura getting into Critics' Choice too. Like, that is not a Critics' Choice type of pick usually, but he is so safely into actor, it seems, between the New York win, between the Critics' Choice nomination. I honestly think he could get nominated everywhere except SAG, maybe, and be top 3 for the Oscar. That is really cool. Joel Edgerton, you love to see get in here. I was worried I was hope dicting when I predicted him to get this nomination, but he did get in. No George Clooney. Does Jay Kelly miss picture? I mean, it got screenplay ensemble supporting actor. Does it cap out there and not get into picture? Because it would be really weird if it got in without Clooney. Let's see. Best Picture. Begonia. Wow. And that's without Jesse Plemons as well, because he didn't get into actor. Frankenstein, Hamnet, Jay Kelly. Jay Kelly got in. Wow. Marty Supreme, One Battle After Another, Sentimental Value, thank you. Sinners, Train Dreams, and Wicked for Good. So yeah, no, it was just an accident. No other choice in there. And Avatar missed. I went 9 out of 10 with my predictions here. They just gave Begonia a Best Pick nomination instead of Avatar. So that's cool to see. So Begonia gets a boost that was necessary, but I do still think it's weird that it wasn't in actor considering it got into picture. I feel like I would have been a lot more confident about it eventually going on to an Oscar nomination for Best Picture if it could get Best Actor here and could, show that it is competing in both lead acting categories. But either way, this is still a boost for that film. And Jay Kelly getting in here without George Clooney is also very interesting. I am really surprised about that because Clooney kind of is that film. But I guess they were just going for more passion picks in actor, and then they just kind of went with Jay Kelly in picture because it's going to be an award season film and they're trying to predict the Oscars, I suppose. But yeah, so as far as takeaways regarding these nominations go, Avatar, very weak. Only a visual effects nomination. I don't think that's happening at the Oscars because I also don't think the Globes are nominating it. And then I don't see where else it would get nominations in order to gain up momentum for the Oscar nomination for Best Picture. Like, it could still get a couple below the line categories at the Oscars, I think, but picture is looking like a stretch at the current moment. Wicked for Good, also, probably not getting into picture at the Oscars, so it looks like both blockbuster sequels might miss, and it could go to more interesting things, which is awesome to see. And I don't even hate Wicked, and I love the Avatar franchise, but it's cool to see that maybe some other more interesting picks could get in. Train Dreams is one film that I do think could get in with the blockbusters on the way out because it had a great showing here today. It needed to overperform, I feel, to really say, I'm here, I'm in the race, and I think it really is. And it's going to be interesting to see what its nomination package could be because initially I was thinking maybe just like picture and screenplay if it would get into picture, but I think the song is looking pretty likely, and then maybe cinematography, maybe maybe Joel Edgerton. Probably not Joel Edgerton, but if it could get picture, screenplay, cinematography, and song, I would be really happy with that. I'm sad that No Other Choice and It Was Just an Accident both missed Best Picture. I'm glad No Other Choice at least got the screenplay nomination, but I don't know if that's a big enough boost for it to really say that it's competing for Best Picture. I think it might end up just being left out on the cusp there, because the fact that it couldn't get into picture, couldn't get into editing despite the really weak shortlist, and instead you got a documentary getting editing and you got House of Dynamite, which is Deader Than Dead, in there instead. That's not great for No Other Choice, but like I said, I'm at least glad that they did the screenplay. It Was Just an Accident is still a lock for Best Picture at the Oscars. I have no problem saying that. Panahi's getting into director there, and it's going to be competing for the win in screenplay with or without the nomination in that category here at Critics' Choice. Testament of Ann Lee is probably the biggest question mark I had coming into today, other than maybe Train Dreams. And I'm really glad it at least showed up in song and actress. I think it absolutely needed to get into actress to even say that it's even in the conversation for the Oscar race. So I'm really happy it showed up there. Would really love to see Amanda Seyfried get an Oscar nomination at the end of the day. It's going to be interesting to see if Testament of Ann Lee, with the Christmas release date, can have kind of a late surge. I do think that the Globes could prop it up, and I do think it could show up on a ton of BAFTA long lists, which would help its chances at Best Picture at the Oscars. So I think people are dismissing it a little too soon. Just because it got off to a slow start, that's not the end of the world. I think it's still possible. I don't have it in my 10, but it's right there. It's almost there. And overall, I think that's probably it for my takeaways here. You saw, One Battle After Another, Sinners, Hamnet, all perform very well. Sentimental Value got everything it possibly could have, really. So I'm really happy about that one in specific. Marty Supreme missed a couple categories, but I still think that's going to be top 5 contender for the entire award season all along the way. So that's really it for my thoughts here on these nominations. You guys let me know down below what you thought of all this. Did anything really catch you by surprise? And did this shake up some of your predictions for the Oscars? Let me know all your thoughts down below. And also, I'm going to be recording a Golden Globes nomination prediction video right after I get this one posted, so that'll come out tomorrow. So if you like this video, you would like to see that one, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.